What if I told you that you could get paid every time someone uses your app? Yes, simply just for using it. You may be thinking, what's the trick? I'm sure you've heard the phrase, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is in your lifetime. And if we were living in a world stuck in Web 2.0, the current web, you'd probably be right. Most big tech companies abuse personal data and manipulate users into spending as much time as possible on their app. The reason for this? To get more adverts in front of their consumers, which is exactly the reason that these services are free. A business model like this that is centered around control is not sustainable for either the users or any aspiring founder. Let's not also forget the files are typically hosted in a way that makes them more susceptible to being corrupted, lost, or revoked at essentially any time. There is a single point of failure, and this is a problem deeply rooted into larger tech companies, and it does make my promise of getting paid purely based on your app's usage sound like a cheap trick. However, this is just a single example of how a community or application can be built and thrive on Arweave. The beauty of Web3, a blockchain-based web, is that there is no trick. The power is simply put back into the hands of the people. The nature of the blockchain allows you to get paid in a multitude of different ways, with the choice being yours on exactly how you want to achieve this, which goes not just for the users, but for founders too. Let's explore exactly how this is possible with Arweave's profit-sharing communities. Web3 has created a fundamental shift in how companies can operate and how users and creators can interact with each other. Arweave has implemented a very interesting model to ensure the success of its builders through something called profit-sharing communities, or PSCs. Profit-sharing communities are formed around a project or a protocol created on top of Arweave, and the community in essence refers to an entity which in itself will be governed by a profit-sharing token, a PST. Founders of an application can offer PSTs as a reward for contributing work or completing tasks for the community. This allows an app to scale much more efficiently, as it provides incentives for both contributors and consumers to participate with your app, giving a worthwhile outcome for both parties. It also doesn't tie any single contributor into one project, allowing them flexibility to choose what they are most passionate about and what they want to truly work on. But before we go deeper into PSTs, let's first take a step back. If you've been in the blockchain space for a while, you may be thinking, so a PSC is basically a DAO, right? And if you're newer to the blockchain space, you might instead be thinking, what on earth is a DAO? And these are both valid points that should first be explored. A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, an entity that is focused on not having a central figurehead as the owner and instead relies on being governed by its community. Some typical features of a DAO include a governance token, which allows members to vote on updates to the DAO, a focus on being ran solely or largely by code with little human intervention, some form of job board or a way for members to contribute to the DAO, and an open source code base. At a glance, DAOs and PSCs do seem to share a lot of similarities, but PSCs can function in a slightly different manner. The best way to describe a profit-sharing community would be a twist on a standard DAO. A DAO is, generally speaking, a more broad group of people who share similar goals and interests. Holding the DAO's token is akin to being a shareholder in a traditional company, where the more tokens a member holds, the larger their vote proportion will be in making decisions for the organization. DAOs can often work in an exclusive or members-only fashion too, where only holders of the DAO's NFT or governance token are actually allowed to start contributing. And contributing itself can actually be quite tricky, as you have to consistently prove yourself over and over again in order to receive paid work from the organization. Hopefully this makes clear that there are some fundamental differences between a DAO and a PSC on a surface level, where contributors to a PSC have a lot more flexibility and choice, and joining a DAO is more alike to joining a traditional company. Really, it can be quite difficult to pinpoint the exact differences, as the scope of each DAO or PSC can differ greatly depending on the organization's vision. There are some fairly large concerns surrounding the way that DAOs currently operate. As previously mentioned, more tokens means more voting power. This isn't necessarily a problem, but if a few large shareholders can make all of the major decisions, it isn't exactly democratic. There is no inherent problem with this, but DAOs commonly put up a facade of being very decentralized and community driven, where that may not necessarily be true. In which case, what value does your governance token actually hold? What value does your governance token then give to your members? This is important to think about as a founder, as you need to provide some sort of value with your community and token. Fortunately, profit sharing tokens deal with a lot of the shortcomings associated with a traditional governance token. There are two different factors in which the way a community can have a larger influence on the direction of a PSC. You can hold more of the community's profit sharing token, similar to a DAO, but you will also have more voting power if you lock tokens up for a long period of time. Sam Williams, the co-founder and CEO of Arweave, describes the governance system as having votes weighted by the number of tokens held, multiplied by the time a user is willing to lock them. This provides a much more fair governance system as it adds an extra dimension to the way a PSC can be influenced. And more importantly, PSCs have never branded themselves as trying to be anything other than what they are, a profit-sharing community. And speaking of profit, besides governance, there is a much larger issue at hand in the way DAOs members are paid. Let's say you're a member of an organization and you contribute some programming work. The DAO approves and pays you out in its governance token, so the incentive for your work is based solely around governance. Of course, if the DAO is valued highly or has a strong treasury, then it could be a great thing to essentially be paid out in a company's stock. But if you wish to cash that out, you then have to sacrifice some of your voting power, or you can hold and hope that this somewhat speculative value of your token increases. PSTs offer a much more sustainable model. If we refer to a DAO token as a stock, a PST would be a dividend, or what some people call a micro dividend. As a founder of a PSC, you can begin by minting some arbitrary amount of profit-sharing tokens. These can either be kept yourself or split amongst founders, or sold to potential investors to raise capital for your app. Any founder can begin working on their application in a more versatile manner, choosing how much ownership they'd like to forfeit in order to bring their project to life. You can even distribute your tokens as payment for anyone looking to contribute to the app. Here are some examples of how you might be able to implement this. Permanent positions with a large token share, opportunities for someone to complete a single task with a reward, or incentivizing the actual community to spread the word about your app. So we now know how we might be able to distribute our profit sharing token, but how exactly does this token share its profit? Well, when a user performs an action through your application or protocol, a tipping amount is set aside to be distributed amongst PST holders. The crucial part about this is this tip amount set aside is paid out in the native currency of Arweave, not in the currency of the PST. This creates quite a special relationship between the app being developed and Arweave itself. Compare this to the model of a DAO where you get paid in ownership. PSCs are more focused on producing something tangible, i.e. profit. The holders of any PST are therefore paid upon the app's network usage. This encourages you as a founder to create a high quality project, as the more network activity you get, the more consistent revenue stream you will have. This forms a unique positive feedback loop or a symbiotic relationship between Arweave and its perma-web applications. PSTs have a genuine intrinsic value. One of the best instances of a profit-sharing community is Arweave, with their aptly named Arweave token. Arweave is a perma-web app, an application built on top of Arweave, that provides a friendly interface for uploading and storing files on the Arweave blockchain, the Blockweave. When someone pays AR to upload data through Arweave, a 15% community fee is set aside and distributed to a single token holder using a random weighted method. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of just one way you could implement your own PST. Now, as a developer, you may want to explore some of the communities already out there to get an idea of how they are structured or see how you can contribute. There are two websites which facilitate this, Community XYZ and Virtual Exchange respectively. Community XYZ acts as both a dashboard and a catalogue of every single PSC on Arweave. Here you can browse the currently created communities, view job opportunities, and find out more information about each community. If you're part of a PSC, you'll have the option to log in and perform actions such as staking your tokens or voting on any proposals for your community. In terms of trading PSTs, Virtual Exchange is currently the biggest platform that enables this. At the time of making this video, their testnet is available as they are in the process of entirely reworking the backend of their website. When you visit, you'll have the option to connect your wallet and buy and sell PSTs against each other, stable coins, or the native AR token. This would be the ideal place to get your PST listed once created, and additionally, be on the lookout for the new PermaSwap exchange by Everpay Finance, an upcoming decentralized exchange. If you're looking for an Etherscan-like experience where you can view blocks being created on Arweave, you can go to ViewBlock, or if you're looking for a smart contract explorer, you can go to Redstone Finance. These are both great places to start. PSCs are an excellent way to begin your journey as a builder on Arweave. Next time, we'll go exactly into how you can create and deploy your own PST using Arweave's native SmartWeave contracts. In the meantime, go out there and explore the permaweb. Leave us a comment and let us know if you think PSTs are also a great idea, and like and subscribe if you want to see more content related to learning and building on Arweave. Take it easy, folks.